And we're rolling. Hello. Today is September 2nd, 2018. And here is your reading. Let me just review the question. So you said, interestingly phrased, you said the topic is a bit of a hack, but I would really love to know if I should continue to put the time and energy into my current romantic relationship because I have doubts and fears of manipulation and dishonesty. So let's take a look at that. So you gave me a 9-digit number. The 9-digit number I used some numerology on to draw 2 cards for you. The first card I like to keep, this is the tarot card. I like to keep this to the end to sum up the reading or to give you some guidance. And then I also used that number to draw an oracle card for you. So you picked Earth, and this is Stacey DeMarco's Earth Power Oracle. The illustration's done by Jimmy Manton, who is my favorite oracle card artist. So let's see what you got. Oh, interesting. You got Svalbard. So both darkness and light are necessary. There is light even in the darkest of nights. I accept that I am part of the cycle of nature. I open myself to new wonders every day. So that's kind of an interesting message. So let's reflect on that as we draw the cards for you. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw 3 cards to lay a foundation for you, and then we'll look at some more specifics after we get through those. One, 2, and 3. Let's take a look. Okay, so this has been a tough time for you. So let me let me look again. You said you're learning, so we had a short correspondence, and you said you're new to tarot and you're studying the art in your free time. So let me, I'll give you the kind of details that maybe I think a learner needs. So you got 2 reversed cards. The way I read reversals is I look at reversals as blocked energy. So blocked energy I interpret as if you're expecting something, it would be a delay. If something's going on right now, it might take too long or take a long time, or it might be just really hard to get through. Something that takes a long time usually is also hard to get through. Also wouldn't take a long time. Or something that's hard to get through, takes a while to resolve. So that's the way I read reversals. You've got 2 major arcana cards here. So major arcana cards usually come up as specific milestones in your life. So this would, one of the examples I use is when you look at a normal card in the deck, like what did you eat last Tuesday? Do you remember? Not really, right? When a major comes up, it would be like, this was your anniversary dinner at the restaurant you had been wanting to go to for years, but it was too expensive, so you damn well remember what you ate. That kind of milestone, right? Where it's something significant in your life. So it's not like Sunday. It's not a typical Sunday dinner. It's something very special that you'll remember, or just something that a touchstone moment or a milestone in your life. So you've got 2 of those now as the foundation. So I feel like you're moving into a period where significant things are going to be happening for you. Now let me put these, just in case now that I'm going to start talking about the cards, I don't want to forget that those are reversed, so I'm going to put them back. But the first card you drew is the 9 of Swords. So swords are the suit of air, and the way air is thought of in tarot is it is about the mind and thought and mental energy, and it's about reason and rational thinking. And to excess, in my personal way of reading the cards, is that when you have an excess of of air energy, that can mean anxiety or depression. Because those are things where, those are mental health issues where you have an excess of thought in one direction or the other, which you can just kind of spiral towards. So this is the Nightmare card, basically. So I like this card. And okay, one other thing I'll say about the way I read tarot is that I feel that every card has a light side and a dark side. Every card has a positive spin and a negative spin. So I would say that, being the Nine of Swords, if we look at tarot as mini journeys, like the 1 through 3 being a mini journey, the 4 through 6, and then the 7 through 9 all as mini journeys, it would look as if like the 7 through 9, there's sort of a significant, like more advanced mini journey of your life that's coming to a conclusion right now. And in the midst of it, you are basically going through some like mental anguish about it, and I would say like anxiety, something like that. Now, so this is literally the scene is waking up from a nightmare. So you've been having a nightmare, you're waking up from it, and if you look at the scene on the side of the bed, it's two fencers fencing, right? So they're using swords and they're battling each other. Not a great scene to have on a bed where you're supposed to be serene and peaceful at night. And so the figure has her hands buried in her face buried in her hands. Now, the positive spin of this card that I really like, though, is that, number one, when you've woken up from a nightmare, that means it's over. And number two, nightmares are not real. So whatever you have like going on in your head and then you wake up from it, technically, you might still be feeling the effects, but whatever was going on in your head, under normal circumstances, it wasn't real, right? So in this case, the nightmare is over. Perhaps you have been living a nightmare in some way, because you mentioned that you feel like there's been some dishonesty and manipulation in the relationship. So if that's what this is referring to, I would say that, well, okay, this looks like it's coming into a conclusion, so that might be a positive thing. Another interpretation of this card is that it could be that this nightmare has partially been amplified by your own thoughts going out of control. So that means some of it might not actually be true. But we'll keep looking and seeing for which way to read this card as we pull more. Now, in the present moment, you've got the Magician here. So the Magician is basically like the manifester. So the Magician can create his heart's desire. Think of this as like a law of attraction card. Like, well, the energy that you're putting out is the energy that you pull in, and you know how to do it. You're skilled at this, right? However, in terms of manifesting, though, the energy is blocked because it came up reversed. So you're in a period where you want something to happen, but it's really tough to manifest it the way you want to manifest it. Now, you got the Magician, so that means you can do it. You can manifest what you want, but it is going to be a tough slog. Now, Temperance, like where you're headed here, so I kind of, you could just, like the moments coming up on this reading, the present moment and like the immediate future about what's about to happen is one way to look at the foundation here. So the Temperance card, this is Temperance in terms of, if you know anything about like blacksmithing, or if you've ever seen it in a movie or something, you know how like they have to put the metal in water, and it's not just to cool it down, but it actually does something to strengthen the metal. It's that kind of tempering, or like tempering chocolate so that it doesn't crumble, or it doesn't it gets the right texture. It's like doing things just right. So in another deck that I use, this is called the Alchemy card. And so if you look at what the angel's doing in this card, he or she is pouring water from one cup to another, but the water is actually moving diagonally. So that can't happen in real life. If you were to pour water out of a cup, it would fall straight down because of gravity. So that's sort of the mystical nature of this card, that there's like some sort of perfect magical element here to to make something happen. Now, the alchemical aspect to me is there's a definite element of balance. Like if you're creating something in an alchemical sort of way, you have to pull the right elements together in the right proportion. Otherwise, you actually don't end up necessarily with what you're trying to manifest. So part of what the energy of these two very significant cards to me are indicating here is that you're having trouble manifesting, and then the areas or the elements that are coming together for you to manifest what you want in life, you're also having trouble getting the right proportions and the right balance of all of the elements that you need to get what you want as well, because it's temperance reversed. Now, if you can get that balance right, you can look at there's a path leading from the water here into the distance, into the mountains, and then there's this crown here. So that's the crown of success. This is something that's achievable, and it can bring great things into your life if you can just figure out the right balance of all of the elements in order to make it manifest, right? So as you move from here as just like the raw effort of trying to make something manifest. So looks like, since you're asking about your current romantic relationship, the energy that you're pouring in to make the relationship work, or so that the relationship has the outcome that you want. That's happening here, and it's a struggle. So looks like where you're going is you're taking the energy that you're pouring into this effort, and you need to figure out, like, in what areas do I need to balance the elements in order to make that work and to make it so that you really can manifest what you're thinking of here. So the elements, you'll have to figure out what that is. Like, I don't know if you have kids, so it's like, how much time do I spend with the kids versus your partner versus your job versus whatever other life responsibilities you have, or it could just be aspects of the relationship. How often do you spend time together versus do things for each other versus give each other alone time? You have to figure out based on your relationship what this is, but it looks like it's going to be hard though, because both of them are reversed. So figuring out that balance in order to make this particular relationship work is not going to be easy. So let me go ahead and pull a few more cards now. I'm going to pull one for you. I'm going to pull one for him. And I think it's a him, right? Well, I don't know what the gender is. So him or her. And one for your partner. And then one for the energy between the two of you. So let me pull those three cards right now. Okay. Here's you. Here's him. And here is the energy of the relationship. Oh, interesting. Okay, so you got another major arcana card. So this is a huge growth period or milestone period of your life. To explain the star, I actually want to show you the card before. So I have an extra deck here with all the cards in order, so I can do that quickly for you. So these are the majors. So number 16, which is the card right before the star, is the Tower, and I want to talk about that a little bit. So because I think that these are resonating here, and these are resonating. So so the 16, the Tower. So you can see that there's a tower, people are falling out of it, there's a lightning bolt, something has happened. The crown of success that we alluded to over here, that you can find that success here, it's kind of being blown off the top of the tower here. So things are like failing right now, things in this card. So things basically have to be shaken down to their foundations. And things have to crumble in order for things to be rebuilt, right? So that's what's just happened. Now this is, the star is the next card in the sequence. So to make sense of the star, so like shit has been happening, yuck, right? Now the star is, and the progression is star, sun, and, star, moon, and sun. So like from a spark, brighter, brightest. So to me, one of the definitions of the star is like, not just where can you be a star, like where can you shine, but it's like, it's that where can you be a star and shine after that everything has been shaken down to its foundation. Like when you're having like the nightmare, things are like you're mentally oppressed and like you're anxiety, depressed, all of that stuff. When, you know, if you kind of think of it as a biorhythm, like that goes up and down, if you're at a low, when you start to come out of that lull, or the when you come out of the rock bottomness, there's a spark, right? There's that kindles the flame again. So, and this isn't just any, this is because it's a star, this is a significant moment. So what is it that is going to, like you right now, I don't know what it is because I don't know you, but something is rekindling, I'm going to go with it intuitively. I was going to say hope. Like I'm thinking that maybe there was a period without hope, and something is rekindling this in with you, with this within you. And in fact, I mean that this is perhaps the star might represent the same energy that brought you to reach out for a tarot reading in the first place, right? So there's a new hope. There's something's being kindled within you. Something so that it's something that's going to lead you to a place where you can shine again. And that's your energy of the relationship, the way I'm seeing it right now. Now, his relationship, pages are beginners. So I don't know if there's one basic thing that could come along with this card is some level of immaturity, right, in terms of how he is in relationship or she is in relationship. So so your partner here, wands are the suit, and these are both wands. So wands are the suit of fire, and fire is often like the way you can think about it is like the fire inside you. So it can be your passion. So if this were a career reading, it would be your job in terms of doing what you love to do rather than doing what you do, like rather than doing something just to like make to pay the bills and stuff, which would be more of like a pentacles thing, earth energy. So the fire energy here of the wands, you can think about it as will, to like what you really want and desire. So I feel like it being a wand and the page, he's at a place where he either is just figuring out, or she is just figuring out what they really want, and they either haven't given a lot of thought in the past, or this is like a new thing to them, like there's a new awakening, but and they're not good at it. So like pages are novices, they're beginners. So perhaps like what this person wants in relationship is just, they're just starting to figure out that, maybe not even just figure it out, but they're starting to figure out that this is a question to ask. Like that's the immaturity thing. Like, oh, maybe I have to figure out why I'm in a relationship and what I want out of it and what I'm contributing to it, like on a level of passion, desire, will, all of that stuff. That seems to be the energy of the relationship there. Now, unfortunately, the energy this is the energy of your partner here. Now, the energy of the relationship, you've got the 10 of Wands. And so you got the 9 here, which is that sort of like when mental energy like gets to a fever pitch and then it becomes anxiety, depression. So this is like will, passion, desire. Again, the 10 is like the epilogue. It's like a culmination, and here it's burden. So if you look at the way the person in the picture is carrying the 10 wands, like you can see that it does not look natural in any way. Like, why would you carry anything like this, right? So one of the basic things going on in this picture is that there is the issue of burden. So the energy of the relationship, I would say, in terms of like passion, will, desires, things like that, there's like you're being weighed down and burdened right now. So it's kind of like it's not able to, you guys aren't really able to move forward easily right now because things are so difficult in terms of maybe a battle of wills between the two of you, or on a level of your passions, maybe shared passions versus passions that are not shared, something like that. And I think I mentioned that there's always a bright side, a light side, and a dark side to every card. So one of the interesting things about this awkward way of carrying the 10 wands is that if you note, there's growth on each of the wands, right? There are these little buds. And in carrying them so awkwardly and carrying the burden so awkwardly, this person is basically ensuring that the buds are not crushed so that there could be new growth in the future. So bearing a burden, this person is persevering. So like, you know, things seem like shitty, but I would say that there is the possibility that you can come out of this period and new growth can happen in terms of passion and will and desire and all of that stuff between the two of you and in the relationship itself. It's just that it's really hard right now. So as you evaluate, I think you already know that things are hard, and coming out of it is definitely going to be difficult. Figuring out like how do you balance all of the elements of life in order to manifest what you want in terms of the relationship is going to be difficult. There is fruit that can be born from this. There is a reward, but it's just going to be a tough slog, really. And with all this reversal here too, just tough slog. Now, let's see. Fears of manipulation and dishonesty. Now, since you asked specifically about manipulation and dishonesty, we didn't really draw any cards here that make it look like there's some cards that indicate deception, right, and dishonesty or things like that, and we didn't get any of those. So that actually kind of bodes well. Why don't we draw like a card for like the temperature of the honesty and dishonesty with respect to your partner? Well, so the Ace of Pentacles. This is. I'm trying to think. Well, you said you're interested in tarot, so I will talk about the basic meaning of the card and then why I'm reading it the way I read it. So, aces are the beginnings of journeys. They all have this imagery of like the hand coming out of the cloud. It's a divine offering of the element of the suit. So in this case, it's Pentacles, and it is this is the suit of Earth, and so Earth energy is things like your home life, meaning like the roof over your head, your ability to buy food for yourself, the ability to clothe yourself. It can be money, things like that. The material plane is another way to look at it. And so the energy I drew for this card about manipulation and deception is about a divine offering on the material plane. Now, in the background of the scene, there is a hedgerow and like there's a garden and there's some flowers. Lilies are all about innocence, and then there's a nice path through the garden out to the next and out into the world of possibility. So you're in no way trapped. You can sort of like grow in the garden, and then you can move on along your way after you've had your time in the garden. So I think that there actually is like this deception and manipulation, or sorry, you said manipulation and dishonesty, that's deception. I don't see that it's like, I think like, oh, okay, this is actually hearkening back to this card, right? So I don't see this as a lot of deception. So like the lilies in the garden represent innocence. So that's one of the reasons why I'm reading this is the way that I don't see that there's a lot of manipulation and dishonesty here. The other way I read Pentacles is in this kind of context when it comes to like what's the energy of something. the energy of Pentacles is about being grounded. How do you achieve being grounded, or just being grounded already? So I feel like the energy of your partner here is that there is a groundedness, there is an innocence, there is a noviceness, a beginnerness here of the energy. So I think if there's manipulation or dishonesty, I think it's like, I don't think he's like, if there is any, which, you know, these are only tarot cards, so who knows what's really going on, but like, it could be like, what's the phrase I can't get out right now? He's not, there's a cliche or something that I can't get out that I think would describe this really well. Give me 1 second. I can't, it's a sports metaphor, so I'm not good with that. But like, you know, like, what do they call it? Like, you know, he's not playing in the major leagues. Like, I would say that if there's some sort of dishonesty or manipulation, it's like childlike, immature, and just not, he's not playing in the big leagues or whatever. That being said, I think like, not knowing and being this whole beginner, I don't actually don't, if there is anything, I don't think he's like doing it as a pro. I think he's like, he might not even be aware of it if he is doing something like that, or she, they, whatever. I'm thinking predominantly though that there's not a lot of dishonesty and manipulation here. And so this harkens back to this card that we drew at the beginning. Remember how I thought like, well, when you wake up from a nightmare, it's not necessarily real. It's all in your head. So maybe part of your journaling could be, well, where is it that things are really truly happening? And where are things where you have been reading into it and maybe you've let it spiral out of control and like you actually don't know one way or the other what's really going on, right? And one of the images in this card, like all these swords all in a line, often reminds me of binder paper with all the lines on it that we use in school. So this often is a prompt to me to ask the querent, you, to journal a little bit. Maybe make some lists of things like where are all the areas that you think deception and manipulation were going on? And then when you look at those areas where you think that there's been manipulation or deception, where do you have solid evidence, or where have you let your thoughts get out of control and maybe that, you know, you've jumped to conclusions, and you really, you could give them the benefit of the doubt or assume positive intent, and maybe that you haven't been doing that. So that's kind of what I'm getting there. Now let's take a look at the, oh, interesting. Okay, so this is the card that is meant to sum everything up and give you some advice here. And so again, it came up reverse, so this is going to be a difficult thing to do. But this is the Four of Cups. So cups are about relationships. They are about emotions and things like that. And the energy of the card here is like, you know, the person here is focused all about on, you know, what's already there. These empty cups, in fact. So it could be an emotional emptiness here, and being focused in the wrong areas like this, like on sort of like a little bit of a depressiveness here. Some look at this as boredom as well. When you're focused on like the things that are going wrong or the emotion, anything that's causing emotional emptiness, you can miss other opportunities. So I think here, like this image right here is the one place where a hand comes out of the cloud that's not an ace. So like this imagery is on all of the aces. So there's something being divinely offered to this person in the sitting under the tree, but he's basically not even noticing because he's focused on these cups down here, like the emptiness that's present in his life. So the lesson in this card is like, how do you focus on new opportunities for emotional growth, new opportunities for romance, new opportunities for making the relationship what you want it to be. Don't miss out on those opportunities because you're focused on what's going wrong right now. And because it was reversed, I think it's going to be hard for you to do. that the hardness, the reversal, really echoes what we were talking about with the Nine of Swords over here. That, you know, if you're prone to thinking this way, or you're prone, or something has taught you that this is a very real possibility, and you know you're fixated on it, figure out if it's founded or not founded by journaling or whatever, and then kind of reflect on everything that we said here, like, where can you be the star? How can you blow on the spark to basically kindle your new period here as you're trying to make things manifest? And then, you know, make sure you don't miss any of these new emotional opportunities for growth over here. And I guess that's about it. I mean, in the very beginning we said, you know, both darkness and light are necessary. There's a light even in the darkest of nights. I accept that I am a part of the cycle of nature. I open myself up to new wonders every day. So this is definitely, the imagery here is about opening yourself up to new wonders. If a hand appeared out of a cloud while you were sitting there under a tree, that would be a new wonder. Make sure you're open to those sorts of things, whether it be about, you know, how to make this relationship work. It could be, the new wonder could actually be a new relationship too, depending on what stage you are of togetherness or not togetherness as well. So we don't know what this possibility is, but just be on the lookout for whatever it might be. I think that's all I have to say about the cards. I hope you found this helpful, and good luck.